We're given the parabola y equals negative 1/6 of x squared plus 4x minus 2 and asked to find its vertex, focus, and directrix. So this parabola isn't in a format that it's easy for me to tell those things, so I'm going to rewrite it, and there are many different ways to do this, but I'm going to do it using a process called completing the square that you learned back in algebra. If you look at your terms that have an x in them, x squared plus 4x, the way that you complete the square is you take half of the term in front of the x, so half of 4 is 2, square it, and add it into your equation. So I'm going to add in 2 squared. Now my equation is no longer balanced because it has an extra 2 squared in it, so I'm going to subtract that 2 squared off so that I now have an equation equivalent to the one that I started with. And the reason I'm going to do this is by completing the square, this is now a trinomial square that will factor to be x plus 2 quantity squared. And it's easy to see that. X is the square root of x squared, and 2 is the square root of 2 squared, and use the sign, this first sign. And then at the end of our equation, we have minus 2 squared, so that's going to be minus 6. So now distributing the negative 1/6, I have y equals negative 1/6 of x plus 2 squared, and negative 1/6 times negative 6 would be plus 1. And this is the format that I like to write my parabolas in. And the reason I like this is now it's easy for me to tell what the vertex is. The vertex is hk, which is going to be equal to the opposite of 2, so negative 2, 1. And to find my focus, I'm going to recall that A in my equation is equal to 1 over 4p, and p is the directed distance between the vertex and the focus. So if A is equal to 1 over 4p, then it's also true that p is equal to 1 over 4a. So p is 1 over 4 times negative 1/6, which is 1 over negative 2/3, which is negative 3/2. So what this means is I have a parabola. The vertex of this parabola is at negative 2, 1. And the focus is the directed distance down 3/2. So if I go down 1.5 units, this was my vertex, this is going to be my focus. So that's going to make my focus at negative 2, negative half. If we were at 1 and we go down 1.5, we would now be at negative half. All right, the directrix goes the opposite direction. So if I'm at negative 2, negative 1, or positive 1, excuse me, and I go up 1.5, then this is where my directrix line would be. So this parabola is the set of points that are equidistant from the focus and the directrix. And so the vertex is negative 2, 1, the focus is negative 2, negative half. The directrix is the line y equals 2.5, or y equals 5/2.